Парам-барам-пам.
You've done a good turn for the NCR, and now we'd like to do one for you. There's an NCR emergency two-way radio. You call, and we'll come running. You're not alone out here. The NCR has your back. Stay
Норм.
safe and good hunting.
What is it? Damned if I know. Put up a hell of a fight, though. We had them outnumbered, I don't know, 20 to 1 maybe? They held out as long as they could, lost most of their force before they retreated. Gave us a little parting gift, too. They had some of the plant running, but they shut it all down. Enabled an old security system, too, to keep us away from the controls. Jerk-offs.
Блін, і чим я його маю затригерити?
Download complete.
О,
Begin recording. Navarro Outpost scientists, I am glad that EDE has reached you. You will find several data banks of information on this machine. Please handle this information with the utmost care, as it represents the sum total of the results of my research on the Duraframe iBots. There are also several data banks with information on my research into Poseidon Energy and some projects they were working on in the Mojave area.
We won't go quietly. The Legion can count on that.
і це все? Ну, хз. Що дальше? Black Mountain. Та. Чи ти, блін, в цей новий вес і не паритись? Headquarters. Нельсон. Угу. А. Та оце квестів немає, це такий якийсь тупняк. Ладно. Піду за цими придурками. Я ж не перегружений. Не. Так, це сюди треба йти. Круто. Недовго хватає цієї штуки. Зараз мені легіон ввалить. Блін, ну я не хочу з ними воювати.
True to Kaiser. That machine looks like a floating eye. I don't like it. Degenerates like you belong on a cross.
Ах ти ж козел. Угу. Окей, можна попробувати вбити їх. А он ще один. Може не один. Один спить.
Watch yourself, profligate.
Ну от. Взагалі не варіант. Не хочу. Значить, не буду спасати. Куди йти? Що шукати? І що це таке? Ого. Нормально. Стільки стафа. Угу. Та задрали ці Fusion Battery. От так от. Угу. Ще не туди завернув, мабуть.
When I got this assignment, I was hoping there'd be more gambling. Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
This post isn't someplace a civilian ought to be. Just the usual. Legion scouts try to slip across the river a couple of times a week. They always end up floating downriver with holes in their heads. Ranger Station Alpha. Ranger Lineholm is in command here. I'm not really much of a historian. The short version is that the Rangers are the elite of the NCR military. Best fighters in the wasteland. Don't get killed up.
Как интересно. Ну. А це у нас що? Boulder Beach Campground. Не знаю, може якийсь квест тут пов'язаний. Щось так воно глухо виглядає. Ну і, звичайно, зовсім не в ту сторону, в яку мені треба йти. Треба якось нагору вибратись. О, нормально. Угу. Тут була дорога. Це на щось схоже. Ще якесь поселення з гулями. Якісь монстри. І тут NCR. Кемп Гольф. І що, і нельзя сюди? Ще тут нічого не бачу. Ой. Блін, стільки хп профігачив. О, воно чисте. Нічого собі. Ну, надо ж вилічитися. Ну, я думав, у мене просто більше кисню буде, хоч трішки. Блін, як воно швидко хп з'їдає. Щось я тут нічого не бачу корисного. Так, а яка в мене зараз гама вімкнена? Нормально. Ну що ж так, таке чисте кришталеве озеро. Що все видно. Ну, буду знати. Нічого собі база. Така вона солідно здорова.
Hey, welcome aboard.
Да, я понял вас тут всіх. Окремі хати. Може тут якийсь главний товариш буде?
Nice job out there.
Glad you're with us.
Oh, hell. What is it now?
Та нічого особенного.
I've been here since the first push into Vegas. Back in the day, this camp was the hot spot for conflicts with the Legion, Raider tribes, you name it. These days, I spend most of my time trying to beat a little discipline into the soldiers under my command. I've gotten soft with no action. Yeah, well, somebody has to wrangle those washouts and losers. Somebody's got to turn them into a real fighting force. Disappointed. We call them the misfits for a reason. They're undisciplined, lazy, and they have absolutely no esprit de corps. The squad leader's got some promise, kid named Mags. But as for the rest, I don't see much hope. I'm going to make them shape up if it kills me, though. Or them, for that matter. You're welcome to try. Hell, maybe they'll listen to somebody they don't see as an authority figure. Man, it's my life. I joined up when I was 16. I don't know how to do anything else. Yeah, well, I didn't want to get promoted out of the field. I didn't join up to drive a desk. Yeah, whatever.
Ну, це вже щось цікавіше. Надо ж собі якось левел набирати.
Hey, welcome aboard.
Угу. О, ви бандюгани.
Glad to see you haven't gotten yourself killed yet. He did, huh? Well, good luck with that. You'd have an easier time teaching rad roaches to march in formation. Well, if you ask me, what we really need is to get this whole squad out on the practice range. Shape up our marksmanship and explosive skill. I'm sure the others have their own ideas, though. Are you sure? I've got enough clout to get them started, but these guys are pretty lazy. I doubt they'll want to be pulled in different directions. Okay, I'll be here if you come to your senses.
What you want, Holmes? Yo, I'll tell you what this squad needs. A healthy dose of energy juice. Psycho, the big red one. I used to run with the Fiends. I still got the hookups. Smuggle some in and you'll see an improvement. My man Jack at Red Rock Canyon. But listen, once you get folks dosed on Psycho, ain't a lot of room for much else. So if you got any other plans for bulking up the Misfits crew, might want to see about it first.
Угу.
We don't talk too much, mostly. Poindexter's a smart-ass prick. O'Hanrahan's a big pussy, ain't good for shit in a fight. And Mags? Well, Mags is better than something other than soldiering, you dig? Whatever. It's not like we need any of them. I do just fine on my own. Ain't much to tell. Grew up out west, in the boneyard. Heard of it? Yeah, not many people have. Wasn't really a good place for kids, you know. I joined up to get out. My family's still back there. What do you want to know? Whole place used to be some kind of rich bastard resort back before the war. Now the Rangers use the old resort and we grunts get to live in tents. Fucking typical. Shit, honey, it was this or the Fiends. And Fiends don't last too long in the NCR. At least this way the badasses with the top shelf guns are on my side. Howdy, great to see you. To me? I'll tell you what I think this squad needs. A little more basic human niceness. That's right. Folks just don't talk to other folks. And everybody's always cross with each other. That'd be swell. Only if they knew the idea came from me, they probably wouldn't take you serious no more. So maybe you ought to think about it first. And I sure hope you're more convincing than I am, or they ain't gonna listen. Whatever you think's... I ain't scared. I just don't like hurting folks is all. Ma always used to tell me, boy, you're the biggest and the strongest, so you mind yourself. Every day she told me that. Guess I done took it to heart. They're mostly pretty nice. Poindexter showed me how to make fireworks. Raz kind of scares me sometimes, but I don't mind. He's had a hard life. Well, I was born on a farm out in California. Weren't much. Me, Ma, and Pa, my two sisters, and about 40 acres of corn and Brahmin. Didn't ever have no problems, really, except for some lean years. Then I joined up and got shipped out here to New Vegas. Oh, it's a fine place. The lake is real pretty, and we don't get bothered much by them Legion fellers. Well, as it turns out, we had a string of bad harvests a few years back. Pa said he couldn't afford to feed but 3 youngins or we'd starve. As the biggest one, it was my job to go join the army so's my sisters could eat, and so's we wouldn't all be killed by raiders, and Jesus would love us. It's all right, I guess. I don't like all the fighting we gotta do, though.
I'm assuming you aren't associated with the Army or the Rangers. What can I do for you? That seems highly illogical. What reason would he have for doing that? Well, this is an unexpected variable. I had hoped to coast on an easy wave of mediocrity to a cushy government pension. And how would you propose accomplishing such a goal? An intriguing proposition. Company readiness reports are logged on the computer systems at the resort. If you hack the system, you could alter our records. Such an attempt, however, is likely to thwart efforts to motivate the squad to do actual work. If such is your goal, you should look elsewhere. As you wish. I'm sure the optimal solution will become apparent to you in time. In a strictly official capacity, no. However, as I am by far the most intelligent and resourceful figure on this base, I feel it's safe to say the soldiers here look up to me. Genius is seldom appreciated in its own time. To what purpose? It's highly unlikely you'd understand anything I'd say. Suffice to say, I'm a certified genius, and when I'm discharged from this pit of testosterone and failure, I'll have all the money I could ever need. It's a simple idea. The Army offers fiscal security and generous benefits at the cost of substantial personal risk, if you're on the front line. If you perform too poorly, they'll scrub you out. Perform too well, and you get sent to the front lines. All I have to do is ride that mediocrity gradient to a cushy, do-nothing job miles away from the war.
і що мені з ними робити?
Glad to see you haven't gotten yourself killed yet. Not much to tell, really. I grew up in New Reno, joined up, took my shot at being a ranger, didn't make it, so I'm stuck with this crew of jokers. Gee, I don't know. Maybe because I'm saddled with the worst damn unit in the NCR Army. Think that might have something to do with it? Yeah. I mean, no. They're okay people, but they don't care, you know? They don't have any ambition, no drive. They're slacking off, and that reflects badly on me. Please. Camp Golf is where they shuffle off anybody they don't want anymore. Assignment here is a career ender. Easy. This is where they send all the fuck-ups and people they don't want. But hey, it's not like I'm bitter or anything. I guess I wanted to make something of myself, you know? Be the best of the best. I wanted to be a ranger, but guess this is as close as I get.
Howdy, great to see you. You did? Does that mean you're gonna help? Okay. Toodaloo.
Glad to see you haven't gotten yourself killed yet. Yeah, what about it? I told you we need marksmanship and explosive handling improvements.
What you want, Holmes?
Hello. You've done an excellent job ingratiating yourself to the top brass. I assume this is some sort of stratagem? And what do you propose?
What you want, Holmes? Like I said, you get the juice, we'll... I'm in... Right. Head to Red Rock Canyon. That's deep con territory, so watch your back. Talk to Jack, tell him Raz wants the usual. See you soon.
Hello. Glad to see you haven't gotten yourself... Yeah. You really think so? Hell, I guess it's worth a shot.
What you want, Holmes? We don't talk too much, mostly. Well, Shit, maybe you're right. Guess I ought to give him a shot.
Hello. You've done an excellent... You're trying to appeal to my ego. I must admit, it's an effective tactic. All right, I'll help. But only because I want to see if it's even possible. I somehow suspect you'll be back to converse with me later.
Howdy, great to see you. Boy, the squad sure is working together a lot better now. I think we're gonna be A-okay. Toodaloo.
We won't go quiet.
І все?
Legion can count on that.
Hello. The squad really seems to be working together better. It's nice for a change.
We won't go quiet.
Тю. Ой. Ну да.
Well, their test scores are only marginally improved, but I'm hearing good things about the Misfits' teamwork.
Окей.
Glad you're with us.
І що це за хата?
We won't go quiet. The Legion. Glad you're with us.
When I got this assignment, I was hoping there'd be more gambling.
You should talk to Chief Hanlon if you have any questions. He's usually up on the balcony. Evening.
Back west, you don't see too many of these. Lakes, I mean. Natural or man-made. Any kind, really. We neglected the dams or pumped all the water out a long time ago. Owens, Isabella, the San Luis. Drained the aquifers of everything they had. Just a lot of mud and dust now. It's a different feeling watching the sun come up over the water. Takes some getting used to. But if you're here long enough, it starts to seem normal. That's what a ranger's life is now, looking east. You must be the courier folks have been talking about. Word on the radio is that someone wronged you back in Good Springs. The Mojave has a way of burning decent people up. But it sounds like you've done right by the NCR. It's appreciated. Now what can I do for you? Folks around here call me the chief, but handling's just fine. The Rangers run themselves pretty well, but I try to lend a hand. Mostly administrative work, helping coordinate intel on the radio. That and keeping an eye on the fires growing across the water. Legion fires. They burn high wherever the Legion goes. Caesar's a hard man to figure out, but he always wants you to know when more troops are at your front door. Shoot. It's no secret we've had better campaigns. Holding this whole length of river isn't easy. We're stretched thin and the long 15 just keeps getting longer. Slow to get supplies, slower to get reinforcements. NCR's Senate has got funds tied up at the boneyard. And President Kimball ordered our most experienced rangers to chase ghosts down in Baja. It's complicated. Goes way back. I told President Kimball that we need more rangers here. He accepted that, but took the most experienced ones and sent them south. Patrol rangers are good men and women, but we're about to fight a war. You've seen it yourself. Some of them don't even have proper service rifles or armor. Our heavy infantry, power armor units, they're back in NCR territory protecting the interests of Brahmin barons against small-time raiders. Brahmin barons only have one vote at the ballot box, but they have a lot of money to throw around. Senate elections are coming up. Local representatives don't want to push any more funding to the Mojave campaign because it's unpopular. Most of the folks around the boneyard haven't been to New Vegas and probably never will. All they know is that their money gets sucked away to this desert and their brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters die here. Shoot. The best of the best, worst of the worst. He came out of NCR, one of the followers of the apocalypse. Like a lot of the followers, he went out in the wilderness with a partner to try to help those who needed helping. Not much different from how the Rangers used to be, except with books and medicine instead of guns. Out to the Grand Canyon. He met a missionary from Utah, a man by the name of Joshua Graham. Graham helped translate for the followers and the tribes. All three of them got nabbed by the Blackfoots down there, back when they were still at war with every other tribe in the Southwest. Somewhere along the way, he realized he needed to educate the Blackfoots or they were going to get wiped out with the rest of the tribe. Showed them how to use guns, how to make explosives. Once he taught the Blackfoots a thing or two, they needed him. And he no longer needed the followers, NCR, or anyone else. He decided he could remake the tribes of the Southwest whether they wanted it or not. He became Caesar, and Joshua Graham became his legate, his right hand. And that's where Graham stayed until Hoover Dam. Losing the dam was the worst defeat the Legion ever suffered. Graham had been with Caesar since the beginning, but he had to set an example. The Praetorians covered Graham in pitch, lit him on fire, and down into the Grand Canyon he went. It's not that clear cut. You have to understand, Graham was the toughest son of a gun anyone around these parts had ever seen. Before Hoover, we had 5 kill reports on Graham from Rangers and 1st Recon sharpshooters who tried to take him out. Some folks think he's still alive. Call him the Burned Man. Yes and no. The Blackfoots don't exist anymore. Just like any other tribe that gets swallowed by the Legion. Caesar takes the tribal out of the tribe. Scrapes and burns off tattoos, breaks up families, forces mixed breeding so all the old loyalties die away. The only tribe in the Legion is the Legion. Caesar is the chief, father, and god, all rolled into one. Shoot. Not too long ago, they took Nelson and Searchlight. They got some camps on the eastern shore of the Colorado. And the monstrosity on the hill across the lake, that's for Caesar. Some folks don't believe he's here yet, but you can tell. He's the eye of the storm. It all roils and spins around him. You don't have to see the man to see the effect he has. Nelson was barely set up. We had a big stretch of unprotected land between Forlorn Hope and Searchlight, and Nelson was the solution. A deaconess named Dead Sea took the place and caused a lot of damage. Searchlight was worse. One of Caesar's Frumentari must have found something in there. Flooded the whole camp with radiation. Shoot. I could tell you a lot if you had the time, but at my age, I'm not sure which of us would get tired first. What do you want to know? Suppose it depends on what you think's good. Most folks want to hear about Hoover Dam and Boulder City, but it's a long story. If you want some tall tales about hunting down slavers or busting up gangs, talk to one of the younger rangers. It's kind of a long one, but all right. About 25 years ago, a group of NCR settlers pushed way south into Baja. I guess it doesn't seem so far now if you look at a map, but back then they were out of ways. They built this little shanty town around a well in the middle of nowhere. Called it Rattletail. Word got back to one of our stations that raiders had been attacking the place. I went out with 6 rangers. We must have been on the trail for a week before we got to Rattletail. We lost one woman to night stalkers and another almost died of dehydration. When we reached the place, it's 6 shacks set up around an old well. There's over 24 bodies lying in the dunes way outside of town, and 5 men with 308 rifles crouched behind sandbags. And these bodies, these people out in the sand, they aren't raiders, aren't even heavily armed. They're just people who were trying to get to the only well in 50 miles. I didn't have to talk to the men to see that they did not care one bit. They had planted an NCR flag over the well. They would not budge until every last one of them was laid out dead and cold. So I walked up and told them there was a group of raiders coming, 100 strong. I made up some cockamamie name for them and everything. The men looked at each other, looked at us, and asked me what we were going to do about it. I told them we would take them back into NCR territory because we'd already lost 10 rangers on the way out. 10 rangers, 5 men with 308 rifles. Well, that was enough for them. They packed up what they could and we took them back north. Last I heard, they settled somewhere in Anza Borrego. Raised bighorners. Had some tough times, but it worked out okay for them. So there you go. That's my one bit of good. In big battles, Caesar deploys his legionaries in waves. Recruits up front, prime soldiers behind the recruits, old guard bringing up the rear. Opponents wear themselves out dealing with the first 2 waves, if they survive that long. When the veterans step up, there's not much fight left. Caesar can adapt, though, and when required, he can run any mix of legionaries as skirmishers and still retain order in the ranks. Joshua Graham, Caesar's old legate, he wasn't so flexible. When the Legion attacked Hoover Dam, General Oliver ordered his troopers back to the middle ground just after first contact. Graham pushed all of the legionaries onto the dam, filling the east side with recruits up front and veterans in the back, by the book. But once they were in, they were stuck there. Oliver's troopers were entrenched and wouldn't give a foot. That's when we ordered the Rangers and the 1st Recon sharpshooters to start picking off veteran Legion officers from a high ridge west of the dam. That only lasted about a minute before Graham ordered the back ranks to push through to the front and rush the ridge. Caused total chaos among the younger legionaries. Oliver's troopers fell back to the side walkways and stayed out of the veterans' way. By the time the veterans got to the ridge, we were already in Boulder City. They followed us down there, but we were out before they realized what was happening. We'd packed the old city with C4 and dynamite. Crude, but it did the job. Those who didn't die in the blast were in no position to mount a defense. The ones left on the dam didn't know what to do. The troopers routed them. Graham pulled the remaining legionaries back, but the battle was over. He went south, back to the Grand Canyon, back to Caesar. And that was the last we saw or heard from Joshua Graham. Adios.
Бля.
We won't go quietly. The Legion can count on that.
Evening. That is one battered iBot. Medicine's running low again. Functioning.
That is one battered iBot. It's a miracle it's still functioning.
All that wealth is wasted on the Strip. There are people in Freeside who need food and medicine.
That is one battered iBot. It's a miracle it's still functioning.
Welcome to Repcon headquarters, Rocketeer. Come all this way to see our little facility, have you? I'm here to answer any and all questions you may have, within specified parameters. And if you'd like, I can provide a tour of our museum. I can answer whatever questions you'd like, provided your query is limited to Repcon history, research and development, or Robco. Repcon's illustrious history began way back in 2054, shortly after the famous Delta-11 rocket was completed and launched. Repcon's initial focus was on the development of fuel to be used in orbital propulsion, in response to the energy crisis of 2052. Sad times indeed. The company really took off when Robco purchased Repcon in late 2076 to develop unmanned rockets to explore the solar system. Very well. Feel free to ask me more about Repcon at any time. The tour showcases Repcon's amazing scientific contributions, and the promise of many more, coupled with its parent company, Robco. Excellent, excellent. Please be patient. The tour will begin in just a moment. Hello. Please remember visiting hours are from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. Please show your badge or make your way out of the building. Ready for the Repcon tour, Rocketeers? Courtesy of the fine folks at Robco, I'll be your guide today on the path of scientific discovery. Embedded behind me is a spent radioactive rod from one of our old reactors. No need to stand too close. Let's move along, shall we? Look here, a row of multicolored plasma fuels. Careful, they may look safe to drink, but your stomach is the last place they should be. Why the difference in cylinder size? Refining our production methods has resulted in higher yields of fuel over time. That's why. To my right, you can see a sample of some old safety barrels Repcon once used to store radioactive waste. Perfectly safe. On my left is an example of a mountain of Repcon safety barrels some legislators claim are poisoning our environment. Ridiculous. You have been warned. Please vacate the premises or you will be considered an intruder. Behind
Welcome to the Grub and Go. Just a little rest stop that me and my good friend Lupe set up. Last stop on your way into New Vegas, first stop on your way out. That's what I say. Sure, fire away. I think there are a few places, but I've heard that the gun runners sell the best. Dr. Usanagi runs a medical clinic up the road. Sure thing. Anything else I can do for you? Give me a shout if you need any. See you.
You need water? I got water. Clean and fresh. Straight. If you're low on caps, I've also got slightly irradiated wasteland water. A little fallout never killed anybody. The NCR fixed up the pipe network pretty good, and water merchants like me are allowed to have some of it to sell. If we have a water license, of course. Still, it beats the inconvenience of having to trek all the way to the lake to resupply. There's a few independent ones like me, but it's mostly the big trading outfits that deal in water, like the Crimson Caravan Company. Shoot. They won't just let anybody into the strip, but you should be able to have a good time in Freeside itself. Just, keep a close eye on your caps. There are a bunch of crazies hopped up on all kind of drugs. Apparently, they're using one of the old vaults as a hideout. The army should really get in there and wipe them all out, but I guess they've got more than enough trouble to deal with right now. Their main base is right over there by the old airport. It's called Camp McCarran now. Some people like to paint them all as a bunch of bullies. Me? I'm glad they're around. They do what they can to keep things safe and orderly. All right. Pleasure doing business.
Hello. Good to see a friend of our government.
Huh.
Hey there. Fancy a game of Caravan? Name's Keith. You feeling lucky? I got games of chance, games of skill, games of you name it. Want to win a little cash? Oh, I get you. Looking for a slightly more chemical thrill? Okay, I'll tell you what. I happen to keep some jet around for emergencies. 35 caps and it's yours. And here you go. Enjoyment. You got it.
Good to see a friend of our government.
Evening. Huh.
Something I can help you with, stranger? This here's where folks go when their luck runs out. Drifters up from the Republic, locals that can't turn a dime, drunken reprobates from all around. And if you don't have the caps to get onto the Strip, odds are you'll end up here. Well, I am a little short-staffed. Maybe you could give me a hand. Some people have gone missing from the camp lately. I haven't seen any signs of violence or heard about any feuds. They just up and vanished. I've also got Keith and his gambling to deal with. I know that skunk's cheating folk out of their savings. I just can't prove it. They never seem to have much in common. That's why I didn't notice it sooner. Young folks, old folks, men, women, all disappearing. I remember a family with a little blonde girl. She never talked much, but she always carried this little stuffed teddy bear. Seem to recall a lot of them did business with those scavengers over on the west side, Dermot and St. James. Keith's a two-bit hustler. He runs a gambling operation out of his shack. Ask me, he wins way too often to be playing fair. I suspect he's running drugs, too. I just can't prove it. Maybe you can find something. Talk to him, poke around his shack, something. Son of a bitch. I knew he was involved with drugs. Thanks. I'm gonna go take Keith into custody. If you're interested in a little extra pay, I wouldn't mind backup. Glad to have you. Let's go. Just stick close and follow my lead. Keith's a cowardly son of a bitch, but he might try something if he's desperate. Have you found out what happened to those missing...
Hey there. Fancy a game?
Lafferty's been... The Crimson Caravan's the biggest merchant outfit in the wasteland.
I've never seen a robot like that before.
Hello. Have you found out what happened to those
Oh, hello. What can I do for you? My name's Frank Weathers. I'm a farmer, got a few hundred acres near Junktown. Well, I was a farmer. I guess I'm not much of anything now. Why does anybody? I thought I'd strike it rich at the tables, make my fortune, and never have to plow those damn fields again. I just wanted to provide for my family, and now they're gone. All gone. God forgive me. We were crossing the Mojave, not far from Searchlight, when a band of Caesar's Legion slavers came out of nowhere. They took my family. God help me. I ran. I abandoned my family to those butchers. Not a day goes by I don't hate myself for that. Go ahead, mock me. Nothing you say can be worse than my own shame. You do that for a complete stranger? Thank you, my friend. The Army says they don't have the available manpower, as if the city is more important. From what I've gathered from NCR Rangers, they were most likely taken to Cottonwood Cove. You might start there. They're cannibals, slavers, and worse. I hear rumors they're poised to overrun the entire Colorado River Valley, and even the Army won't be enough to stop them. One of the officers here, or at Camp McCarran, might be able to tell you more. Goodbye.
Hey there. Welcome, sister. How can I help you? Poor lost souls, most of them. They thought to come to New Vegas and find their fortunes on its shining strip. But the journey is often long, and the price to enter the city is steep. Those who could not pay ended up here, hoping to earn the caps they need. Some find honest labor, but more fritter away what little they've saved on crooked gambling and cheap liquor. Still, I minister to them as I can. I give what aid and comfort I can. I have medical knowledge thanks to my time with the followers. I only do what I can to help. Farewell.